Late December, we packed up for a short break in La Fortuna, Costa Rica. No rush, no checklist, just a few days to slow down, explore, and celebrate a birthday along the way. Everything we did here can be done 2 days, and 2 ways. You can book experiences yourself, or you can have them curated with local insight. This video shows what a real La Fortuna experience looks like when you choose to slow down. On Monday, December 29th, we left our RV, parked at Rio Celeste Glampground, and headed toward La Fortuna. Waze said the drive would take about an hour and a half, so we just left after around noon. We arrived around 1:30 and decided to drive toward our Airbnb first to get oriented. That turned out to be a good decision because the GPS didn't take us anywhere close to where we actually needed to be. Once we found the correct coordinates, we realized we were only about 5 or 6 blocks away. Since check-in wasn't until 3, we went looking for a grocery store. Waze sent us to a side street with nothing on it. No store at all. We turned back, found a market closer to the Airbnb, grabbed a few essentials, and headed back. At exactly 3 o'clock, we entered the gated area and waited briefly while the cleaners finished. And shortly after, we were inside, unpacked, and settled in to our home for the holidays. After a swim in the pool, we walked to a nearby restaurant called Mary's Barbecue. I had a tomahawk steak surf and turf with jumbo shrimp. It was one of those meals you don't forget. After dinner, we walked back, enjoyed some quiet time, and called it an early night. On day 2, Tuesday, that was my birthday, and the day started quietly. We made a simple breakfast and headed toward Arenal Volcano. Yes, it's over there. Our first stop was a butterfly conservatory, just outside La Fortuna. By around 10:50 in the morning, we were inside, surrounded by butterflies, beetles, frogs, and insects. Some were alive, some preserved, and all of it was fascinating. It's the kind of place that naturally slows you down. By about 12:30, we were back in La Fortuna and stopped at a massive souvenir shop. We left with 2 bottles of hot sauce and a couple other things, with no regrets. Next was the sloth tour. We paid $50 per person, and by 1:22 in the afternoon, we spotted our first sloth. There were also forest trails, signs, and even ants carrying leaves across the ground. This is one of those guided tour experiences where some people like booking it themselves, and others prefer having the timing and guides arranged ahead of time. Both approaches work. It just depends on how much planning you want to do yourself. By 3:56 in the afternoon, I was having my first birthday drink, a vodka martini at Kenko Bar and Restaurant. There was sushi, shared platters, and just time to sit and enjoy the moment. By 5 o'clock, we were back at the Airbnb, relaxing and winding down. Wednesday was intentionally slow. We stayed in, had breakfast, spent time in the pool, and caught up on Netflix. That night we made spaghetti and watched the show Wednesday, no pun intended. On Thursday, we went out for a late breakfast and walked around La Fortuna's main street. We picked up a couple of souvenirs, saw the local church, and then headed back to do laundry and relax. The rest of the day was quiet, pool time, and a few episodes of The Good Doctor in between the rainstorms. Now by Friday at noon, we were all packed up and heading back to our trailer. But before that, we had to have another delicious breakfast in La Fortuna. There was no rush. There was no stress. Just a good reset before moving on, Pura Vida style. Trips like this don't need to be rushed to be memorable. La Fortuna works best when you give it room to breathe. And if you like booking experiences yourself, platforms like Get Your Guide are a good place to explore options. Scan the QR code on the screen to see some popular tours right now in La Fortuna. If you prefer having a trip curated with local insight routes that make sense and experiences matched to how you actually travel, you can visit earthboundtours.com. Either way, travel works best when it feels like yours. Peace.